just like we promised you earlier. And the topic we'll be looking at this morning is stopping gender-based violence in Anambra State. And you can see we already have our guest seated with us in the studio this morning. Her name is Ukere, right?
No, Ukere is not here.
Okay, Ngozi Nwoji.
Okay.
Glad to have you on the show, Ngozi.
Thank you.
She's Adolescent Reproductive Health Focal Person, Ministry of Health, right here in Oka, Anambra State. Yes. You're welcome once again to the show.
Thank you.
You're looking beautiful this morning.
Wow, thank you. You too.
All right, glad to have you on the show. Yes. And I want to tell you to, stay close to your television set this morning because you have a lot to learn. And when we talk about violence against women or stop gender-based violence, we have a whole lot to talk about. But, sometimes people don't even understand what violence is all about. Because there are some certain things that they will tell you that it's a normal thing. My dad did it, my brother used to do that and all that. So in the course of our discussion this morning, we are going to outline some of the things that we consider
and stuff. Then to be loved, she has the right to be loved and cared for. And you don't just maltreat a girl child because she's your house help. When probably we know children err a lot. So as you're judging gender-based violence, you equally look into that while judging it. You ask questions. When you ask questions, you get answers. Ask the child. Ask the perpetrator of the abuse. You'll be able to get the answer or know the difference, whether it's gender-based violence or not. For example, we've seen cases of people, probably they sent their house help to go and buy something, she bought it and probably it was stale or something. I know money is hard to come by, but at times we have to calm ourselves. We go over most times. So when the woman of the house notices, or even the males in the home, notices that the food is stale, what she bought, they'll go to the extent of, at times, people, they'll push. The child might fall and hit her head on the wall, which can be harmful. Ufọdụ na get to extent of using iron on these children, either to hit them or hot iron
to scar their skin.
Just next time you remember, so you don't have to do this again. I know it's painful, but we should be able to hold ourselves because after everything, you feel bad having done that. Most times it's due to hot temper. Some people are very hot-tempered, which creates most of these problems. They don't have any atom of patience. So all these things create problems. And most times, some people don't see those house helps as being their children too. Because they could be your children. Think of what another person will do to your child and you'll not be happy. When someone else does it to your child, you'll be unhappy. You go overboard. Some parents will go to the school to fight teachers for having caned their child in school. Or the marks of the cane will be on the child's body. So you can imagine, put yourself in that child's mother's position. You can imagine what the parents will feel when they see those scars on the child's body. So that should be able to calm us down. Most times when you're that hot and angry, take a glass of water, sit down, sip it. Talk to yourself, be calming down. Be calming down. You don't have to do this.
Is that also applicable to men that are battering their wives, like taking the water and telling themselves to be calming down? Because we notice, apart from the fact that we're talking about children, what about women that are being abused on a daily basis by their husband? What actually is there any moral justification for a man to actually probably hurt your wife, hit your wife, or you molest her, both sexually, physically, and otherwise?
Well, the GBV 16 days activism says no to any form of violence. No excuse for violence. So no matter what it is, there's no excuse for you to perpetrate that violence. Some men, I know some men will get angry, they'll just walk out of the house.
That's violence.
It's not violence.
No, it's not.
Is it not better for you to walk out?
Because that man might be a very angry one. He is. So when he leaves the house, he'll get to come back when he's calm and sober. So by that time he's calm and sober and he's back, it's the anger has been alleviated. So he won't be able to hit the wife or cause harm.
Okay. Right now we want to take a short break. We have an advisory against the GBV. So let's have it and we'll get back on the show. Stay with us.
Rape. Please. Stop it. We get injuries. We get hurt. It's a lifetime trauma.
Guys. This is just 5 minutes of pleasure and not a lifetime satisfaction.
Control yourself.
The next victim might just be your sister.
So, let's fight against rape.
Let's get the culprits to pay.
Do you imagine what we go through? We struggle.
Some don't even make it out alive.
Most are damaged beyond repair.
We lose our sanity.
We lose our innocence. You instill great fear in us.
You tear us apart.
It's a scar. A wound that doesn't heal.
Quit asking irrelevant questions. What was she wearing? Where was she going to? Why did she go out with someone?
If you say that it's indecent dressing that causes rape, what would you say of the old woman that was raped in her farm? What would you say of the little baby that was raped? How would you justify rape? Why would you do that?
That she is beautiful doesn't mean you should rape her. That she is dressed like me doesn't mean she is calling for rape.
Instead of spending time telling the young ladies how to behave and how to dress, why don't you spend time teaching your male children how to treat ladies so that they will grow up to be the kind of husbands, the kind of men that your daughters truly deserve?
Say no to rape. Say no to rape. Say no to rape.
This is a social campaign against sexual violence by Anambra Broadcasting Service.
Ekele ọlụ eke ọlụ ahụ ekele na onwe ọlụ nwaanyị ya alụ nwe nke nwoke ya alụ ịbịachi wele nke nwaanyị ya alụ nye nwoke na emenwunye ichekwana nwaanyị nwaanyị bịa mee nke nwoke ọrụ adaba anya ka eji achị na onwe osisi eji eti ọkụkọ iwele eti ego ọnwụọ iwele nke eji ti na ma ti ego ọnwụọ so na ekele ọlụ eke mana ọba niile m bịa na asị onye eji lụọ nke ọba niile bụ mmegide ka ọ bụ mmadụ nke si ọ bụ na ndụ oyibo asị na ọcha dadu ị na-apịa mmadụ iwe ara eme ibe mmụọ na onwe m bụ ya ma onye bata n'ezinụlọ otu mmụọ dị o nwere nkụ ya adịnị mma na nwunye m ara awa nwunye nwere anya ochi jewa anya o nwere mmiri ya dị n'ime roba mma na nke ọ ya rapanwu nke njebe anya mana ọ bakwa nke nje na-abịa je ekoko iwe oriri cha na mara emewu ọ nke nwaanyị ya emewu,
especially on children and the women, as well the society at large should not be discriminating amongst the women and the children. You make certain things very easy for them in such a way that you advise them, encourage them, especially some women that are maybe housewives, they are not doing anything, relying solely on men to provide for them. You encourage them and advise them that there are little things, petty business, and there are some other skills a woman can learn in life to assist him earn a living and not depending solely on men. By so doing, they should understand that women as well can provide for themselves and as well as their family at large.
I think the way we should try to stop gender-based violence, right, is to say every human being God created us with equal rights. see the other being as the way you see yourself. Love the way you love yourself. Then I think we will curb the issue of gender-based violence. It's just for you to see the other person exactly the way God created you. Then we are going to get out of this. That's what I have to tell you.
So for children, for those of them that maybe their parents cannot afford their school fees, train them to schools, the citizens can as well. Maybe the government may provide free education for them. If the citizens as well can give a financial assistance to train these children, by so doing, they will grow up to become people that are responsible in the society.
To have you back. We're still on Good Morning Anambra, where we're talking about stopping gender-based violence in Anambra State. And yet, we've been joined by Eucharia Anekwe, who is the State Coordinator, Child Protection Network, CPN. Eucharia, good morning.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Well, I'm sure the topic is no stranger to you, because we're talking about the gender-based violence in Anambra State and how we can stop it. And I like that word stop, because nobody is curbing inadequacies. Nobody is curbing what is wrong. So we are talking about stop it and in total eradication of gender-based violence. And Ngozi, before you had already given us an intro into what gender-based violence is and the measures in stopping it. While we were watching our street talk, we saw where somebody was talking about women needing to be loved. You understand, when you love a woman, then you consider her yourself, because when you beat her, it's like you're beating yourself, you understand? And so now, talking about that, how do we now, because we're talking about women, and nobody's talking about men, but men are the ones that inflict this pain on women. So where do you think we need to start addressing these issues as against the girl, and then tap more on the boys that is the problem committing this violence on women?
Thank you very much. Well, I think the best thing is to start catching them young from the school, especially the boys' schools, and then you now move into co-educational institutions. Most children, just like we were discussing off camera, have learnt from their parents and neighbors. You know, this face me, I face you. Yeah. There are some men that are used to beating their wives. They didn't just wake up one morning and start beating their wives. It started from somewhere, probably when they were young. And then some learned it from their peers, this peer influence, from their colleagues. They will be telling them, me, I cannot take that from my wife. I will just deal with her and tell her that I used my money to buy her. And not even to marry her, just to buy her and keep her as a furniture in the house. Engaging the boys from the school, engaging them from the higher institution, engaging them in the families, even in the church. Because most children, they listen to the pastors and the priests, they listen to their teachers more than the parents at home because of over-pampering.
So there's negligence on the part of parents here.
Exactly.
In the area of over-pampering.
Exactly. This issue of he's a male child, he's my hair. Just allow him to live, especially where we have one male child. Please don't touch him for me. If you cannot wash that plate, eat on the floor. If you cannot sweep the house, do this, do that. Why must you beat him just because he didn't wash plates? He didn't wash plates. And all that. And mostly from our women.
Okay, these things are being done by women.
Women. Yes. A man would like to treat his son as a man. He wants him to become a son. Even not me, I'm guilty of that. Not all men, some.
The ones doing it.
Exactly.
And the woman tries to reprimand the child. The father will come to his rescue.
Sometimes when the man, wants to reprimand the child, the woman will stand. Me, I'm guilty of that.
Okay.
Yes, one morning my husband said, yes, one morning my husband said, he called my son, he said, come, let's go to the farm. I said, farm, this time, and it's raining. He said, what kind of rain is this? Is this rain? I said, yeah, no, you know this corn and they're itching something. Please allow him to sleep. It's still early. And at the time I said, what are you doing to this boy? I gave up that morning, but not with my whole heart. You understand? So sometimes we are guilty of that. And when this boy notices that the mother is pampering him, he will be tilting towards the mother more than the father. Yes. And he will behave more of a woman than the man that the father wants him to become.
Okay, now I understand that we should or we need to catch them young.
Exactly.
Because, I'm coming to you now. So what about the grown men now? Does it mean that there's nothing we can do probably to change their mindset, especially those people that are violent in nature?
Well, most times these men learn from their homes, learn from their parents, the way their fathers handled their mothers when they were younger. Just like what we were saying offline before, that Anambra is filled with different communities, ethnic communities. We have the Hausas living in Oka, we have the Yorubas, we have the Igbos, and others, Efik and the rest. And such things, you know that those people have their own way of handling their women. Like the Hausas, they marry 4 wives, which is legal. And after that, they have the right to divorce the wife or otherwise. It's not a woman's place to say no or yes. So based on that, when such a man is relating with someone who does not have it from his background, automatically he will start learning that man has power over women and the woman does not have any rights. That it is what I dish to her that she takes in. So based on that, when you're talking to somebody like that, he's not hearing. And he has friends. Most times you see on home movies, you watch some men who have their peers, they'll go out to drink and discuss, and one of them will start, talking about this one's wife. That your wife, they give you food, well. He'll say, well, she's a nice woman. Another one will say, are you sure that there's no reason why she does that? Or try to oppose it and use something bad to equate that woman for what the good she has done. And by so doing, they'll try to test. Okay, let's try and see if she's really a virtual person. And such things, you're going to test someone who has not done any evil or who you know has not done anything immoral. By the time you enter into that to try her, you'll find out you push her into that problem. And who loses? You. It comes back to you. It will come back to you because the woman has been a good woman, sacrificing. And when that happens, you will now find out the traits, the good traits of your wife. You find out, oh, how can I stay alone? See what I've done to myself. My wife has packed to her parents' home. What do I now do? In fact, I'm missing her. She's the bedrock of this family. You find out you can handle what she's been. You now start missing her presence and what she's been doing. You now see them clearly, more clearer than before. That this is what this woman has been doing. She's been managing the kids. Oh, that's a great job. She's been doing the assignments and doing other things.
Okay. In addition to what she just said, you can also correct the adults by securing convictions at the court.
Yes.
Because once it is done, others will learn from that. Again, they have their meetings. You can always engage them through their leaders, through this forum they have, and talk to them, give instances, and the police also have much to do for us. The judiciary also have theirs to do. When you get such cases and report to them, all of a sudden they will settle out of court. And then sometimes they use intimidation on the women. If the police and other organizations, non-governmental organizations, and Ministry of Men Affairs, they are doing a lot. If they can stand by these victims, the men will learn and they will correct themselves. You know, this gender-based violence, it's not just about beating your wife, about physical violence, even emotional, sexual, and all that. Once there is conviction, the adult ones will learn their lessons.
Well, let me put in something, though not conventional, because I saw a video where in a particular community, there's this man that used to beat up the wife and the female children. Of course, from what we've been discussing, the male one are his treasures. So he doesn't touch them, but he beats the wife and the female children. And the woman went and reported to the, let me use the word, Omoada. And they brought this man out and they'll beat him.
Beat him, of course.
I know it's not a conventional way of handling such issue.
No, but to some extent it's working. I know in my town it's been done to a man who beat up the wife. Okay. The youths of the community fished him out and gave him a good battering. They really dealt with him and warned him never to do that again, because everybody knew how the wife has been behaving. And this takes us back to what I said earlier before the break, about governments creating policies that will enable us get judgmental and justice for the victims of the GBV. And equally,
no, she's talking about implementation of.
Okay, yes, okay. Yes.
Implementation.
Have the policies, then domesticate those that are from the national. Because some of them are not yet domesticated in the States. And most times the lawyers will be the people, you keep going to court, go to court for a very long time. After 6 to 7 years, nothing comes out of it. So most times it puts people off going to court. They'll say, what's the need? What is it going to do for me? I'm not going to get justice, so why the hell should I go to court?
All right. Just before we talk about ways of stopping it, because we are talking about stopping, not curbing, just like my colleague earlier mentioned. And for us to even sit down here to talk about stopping it, it means that it has some negative effects on the victim. So we want to, give out or roll out some of the negative effects of this kind of violence on victims, because for the harm we can for the channel you book that there is nothing, just
they
like
don't relate it to real life experiences.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
And all that. So we really need to point out the effect or impact of this violence on victims.
My dear, thank you so much. On ebute ihe karịrị akarị. Amara mma ngesi na depression. Mma ngesi na death wee gbadatawa ka ngesi na ana wee gbagowe wee luo n'ọnwụ. You know, there is this elderly woman I intervened in a case. Olurokwa n'isi. Nwa ya nwoke gbukasịcha ụlọ. Chụpụ ya n'ụlọ, kwala ibu ya kwapụ n'ilo, tụsịsịa ife niile. Si no inheritance ya. This issue of disinheritance na-eme ndị mmadụ alụ, especially ụmụ nwanyị. A widow, for that matter, not up to 75 years. Ka nwa ya mere ihe ahụ. Nwa mụrụ n'afọ ya, last born, si no inheritance ya, ka mami ya nọ ya. Okay. So you can imagine the state of mind that woman no. Ụmụ ya ndị ọzọ na-agbasịlị the boy ọsọ. Ofu nwa ya nwaanyị kpọọla ya akpọlọ n'ọdị, fekwere ya aṅụ mmiri atọgbu iko. Eje m intervene n'okwu ahụ, o buru nnu wunyelu m na fuel tank m because o nwere problem. So a na-emepe ya ọsịsọ. A sị bụ nọọ a police officer ka ọ bụ wee chụọ ya n'ọrụ. So akpọnyezie ndị otufa ka handle, ọ ndị otufa nwudekwara ya dade ome ihe. Kedu state of mind that woman nọ ya? Asị mma pụtozi n'ọkpa m chazigharị ha n'okwu ahụ ka ha mewezie mgbafelu. Now, ọ na-eme ụmụaka. You can imagine nwa 5 years, 10 years, 4 years, nwoke dakpolu n'ike, nwoke nọ gafegolu teenage, nọzi na 30s, an adult, ije wakpo nwa anwa. Ịma na ọ ga-akpọ ụmụ nwoke niile asị na ndụ ya. Ọ ma nkwedị n'ọdị. Ọnụ anụ, osi na just ka aza Mrs. And ọ ba be die, ọ dị ndị anwa na-inflict violence against the man.
Which those kind of violence can result in death. Because iwe ijigide n'obi gị, ịma na report on onwere ha na-eme ijeba onwere ha na-eme ọbụ the normal culture of Igbos of not letting things within the home to go outside. It's equally telling on us. Because most times you guys say, okay, onye Igbo does not have anything to do. Or obulugi lebazia. So in such instances, onye ahụ nwe ndị nke ọ gwala agwa, ụmụada nwere ike ha tinye ọnụ, ụmụ nwoke akpọ ha. I've had a case like that. Ụmụ nwoke akpọ ha si ha wepụ aka na that case. Ndị chile echichi akpọ ha si ha wepụ aka na that case. And gịnwa as nwanyị continue gaba. If na enwego problem against you.
It's not against you. It's against Umuada community na Ubodon.
Everybody, because Ginwa will the lead there. So, of course, now anything in our champion, you know it's not going to move because you have to curb gender-based violence, you have to make allies among the men. You must have to make allies of the men. You have to get some of them to your side for you to be able to. They will make you to fail.
Then another thing, gender-based violence in our course, on a break homes, on a melmoaka, a traffic here. Because when Nana na be a zinudo, Obuno workers all custody omwaka, or see Ngozi one name Bolonka, Mama Nkechi Bolonka. Mama onya bolonka without knowing no traffic ibego mwaza because onya we na akponye mari ofuma ozo dika ibie bụ na ụnọ gị agasagokwa ọgasago ụnọ then mental health ụmụaka anwa agasagokwa maka na onwe ike ọ bụ na nwa na ama akwụkwọ oluzie n'ụlọ akwụkwọ ọma mmazi akwụkwọ ejem program na Onitsha one college there o ezigbo nnukwu na akwụkwọ ka ọ bụ mgbe anyị mesi presentation on VAP law and Child's Right Act. Anyị wee nwe ụmụ akwụkwọ dị not less than 20 gbakwutere anyị nke abịa ọsị gị papa m na-eti mma m ihe mgbe ọbụla mma m wee na since anwa nnọ ifuru ọka ndị onwezi nni ka nna egota ọbịa ogote emunye ogote mbọns na minara achọrọ m ka unu jee ebe anyị ka akpọnata mmanụ. I were hand their cases, so many of them over to Ndi Nkuzi were na asị no wonder. Na nwa na agbabu first. Pụtaziana ndị ọ na-eweta prize mbọsị prize giving day. By the time ọ na-eluzi SS1, ọ na-agbazi 16, 17. And that was when that thing happened. O nwere onye nkuzi kpọmulie si ya, what is your problem? So if ọ na-eme ajụjụ gị, if ọ na-eme ka ọ na-eme nwatakịrị ọ dachighi azụ n'akwụkwọ, ọ na-ejide ezinụlọ ghasa, ọ na-eme nwoke business ya crumble ka m gwakwa gị eziokwu nwaanyị na-akwụdolu nwoke n'azụ with prayers. Abịa na side nke nwaanyị ọ na-eme o nwee ụkọchukwu kwuru okwuchukwu ofu ụbọchị ọ sị na mmadụ na-ama akwa ka onye agha na-aga gba ọma akwa ntị nke apụta side ọ na-eme nwaanyị agha na-aga agba anya ọma mmazi ma ukwu akwa na-abụ ọ na-eje anyhow iji ya step ya ma mbuzi ofu ide step ọ na-aga n'ụzọ ọ na-aka akụkọ ka onye isi adịrọ mma ọ na-eme mmadụ ihe o nwelu a na-adafunarị ya mazialụ ka echiche ụmụaka ga-adị ebe ezinụlọ fa adịrọ mma mazialụ ka echiche nwa agbọghọbịa adakpo ga-adị echi niile asị ya na ọma nnuzi di maka na nwoke ọzọ ebulugo ụzọ mara ya. Gwa m nwatakịrị ji ihe gbasalụ Chineke wee bido ndụ ya wee sị na nwoke ama mmụ ya until ọ nụọ di n'ọnya ka ọ ga-ejichelu di ọjị mbọsị ọ ga-agba akwụkwọ mmadụ adakpu ya napụ ya ihe ọ ga-eji kedu ka ndụ nwa anwa ga-adị o emekata ba be nwoke ma di ya anwa in fact ọma loves nwoke ọbụla in her life maka na ọ baa bụ onye ọbụla ihe jikọ ọnya na ya na-abụ ọma na-emeli ebele so nwanne m ife ọ na-eme erika ọ na-aghasa ihe so ọ nghasa ka gender based violence na-aghasa o nwere nke ọ na-achịkọta ọnụ.
Well, based on your submissions, well, ihe n'ukwu erika, and then it's quite, will I say, exhilarating. Now, in order to stop, we need to get to the root bottom. Exactly. I don't know if it's going to be positive or possible, rather, for the Child Protection Network to have representatives in schools so that we can early enough begin to inculcate the way a gentle boy would treat a lady. So that by the time they grow older, they will now understand that they can cut away from what they see their parents do and then do the right thing. Is that going to be possible?
It's much possible.
Do you have the manpower, the resources to do that?
We will try our best. Already we have child's rights clubs in some schools.
Okay.
And then there is this thing about getting permission from the Honorable Commissioner, from the state offices before you carry out a program in the school. That is what we are trying to do now, to secure an approval for them so that we can enter into schools and establish these child's rights clubs in the schools where we don't have them. Already we have them in some schools. And within these 16 days of activism, we are also visiting some schools. We've done in the communities, talking to parents. Yeah. And then we rescued a child at Obo recently. The mom, I don't know, the woman said she is the biological mother. If you see the bruises on the body of this child, and then when this child was rescued and taken to the police station, the women in the market were dancing and celebrating that the child. When we asked the child, he said, I don't know my father, but they said she is my mother, that her sister brought me from the north. I grew up in the north. The sister brought me from the north and handed me over to her. She's the one that has been training me.
And
she gives me buns to sell. The day I did not sell the buns, she denied me food for 2 days. And I stole her 1,000 naira to buy rice. Then the teachers reported me to her. They gave her the balance from the rice, 600 naira rice. They gave her the 400 naira rice. They gave her the balance of 600. And since then, she has been inflicting this injury on me. She said I stole her money. I did not. It's just that 1,000 naira that I stole from her. So we handed him over to the police and all that. We will continue from there. But the thing is, these schools, we also need the teachers to support them. It's not just about establishing the club. When you establish them, let the teachers follow them up and make sure that they are implementing 1 or 2 activities in the school to sensitize their fellow students. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Let's go back to you now. I want us to talk about FGM, female genital mutilation. Should we also consider it as part of violence against girls? And then also what effect or impact it has on, the people that is being carried out on?
Thank you very much. Yeah, female genital mutilation is an act of violence because it's affecting those children. It's against their will for you to mutilate them. After that, most times some of them got infected or have different problems due to probably the uncleanliness of the environment or the people who did the mutilation. So this causes them, most times, after getting married, some might not be able to conceive because they are all parts of it. And when you have done that to a child, most times they say it's to reduce excessive sexual behavior or urge. It does not do that. It doesn't. It doesn't. So you're just inflicting pain on the person, and it's psychologically affecting them too. because you know how it could be. It's not just like the male organ. The female organ is a different thing, and it's closed. So most times it will be difficult to heal, to cause so much pain for the people that got such mutilations on them. So it's a very bad thing and needs to be stopped.
Okay, because do you want sorry, you want to add something to that?
Honestly, it baffles me that even
now,
in this present digital generation, they are still doing it.
In the internet?
Even in the townships. They will invite their great-grandmother to come to their house and mutilate
the children.
The child. They are still doing it, and they will tell you to curb promiscuity. For where? When you take a look at most of these teenagers that are pregnant, that have experienced unwanted pregnancy, most of them had their circumcision when they were young.
So what's the point of doing it?
So what's the point of doing it?
So
and
the
then
aim
in
is
some
defeated.
parts of this southeast, they do it when you get married. Yes. They do it when you get married. The woman will be circumcised. And then that's in the case that she's starting a new life. Once your dowry is paid, you'll be circumcised and taken to your husband's place. You stay there, get your healing before. It is still happening.
That means you guys have a whole lot of work to do. Yes. Your table is full. I really don't envy you, but then at the same time, I appreciate you for the noble job you're doing. You understand? Talking about getting these youngsters, you understand, educated early enough. Yes. And then you talked about even the grown men, the measures that they can take, or ladies can take, either going to court and everything, no matter flogging and the rest of it, or to cope all of that. Yeah. You know, what then do you talk about caregivers? People that you entrust your child into your hands, and then they end up inflicting some
injury
act of violence on these people. Because nobody seems to take some happens even in the
churches.
In the churches, that's the place you least expect a thing like that.
Yeah, it happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere.
Especially molestation. It's on the rise now. Those people you use as caregivers in your homes, some might be adults, some might be young ones, but you find out that they still molest your children. So it's...
Those molested children, don't they speak to their guardians, parents? Or is it that parents don't take them serious?
Most times, the parents don't have time to listen to their children. Exactly. Other times, those people who are perpetrating such acts of molestation, they will threaten that child that if you talk, I will either kill your mother or your father, or I will do this or do that. And the child will be filled with so much fear that she will not, or he will not even think of divulging the act. And you know, most times, these younger ones, they are gotten with virtually nothing. Fanta, biscuits, and stuff. When your parents do not inculcate that into you by telling you, you know, now in schools, we are trying to catch them young. You start as a teacher, you try to talk to them. We read rhymes to them that your body is personal. You call the names. You don't use my Tintin or your Tintin. Call the name so that they'll know what you are talking about. Tell them that your breast is your personal belonging, and nobody is supposed, not even your mother or your father, should touch it. And when something as an instruction like this has been given to you, that even your mother or your father or your brother or your sister should not touch it, will you allow an outsider to touch it? So these are ways the teachers will help to do that. Then from the home, the mother should equally educate their children. Uncles, nobody, even your brother should not lap you. Do not allow your brother. You'll see sharp children. You want to lap her. She'll say, no, uncle, put me down. My mommy said nobody should lap me. You will know that she's been educated by her mother. And she will keep to it. Because most times, these house helpers or caregivers are the ones who will engage them into such acts. Their sexual debauch will be done by those people they call uncles in the homes, caregivers in the homes or in the compound. You'll be leaving to buy something. Even teachers in the schools, even brothers in the churches, at times the choir members, because one wants to be there. So all those things brings them close, and for onye na-achọrọ adhere to ihe akụziri ya, ma ọ bụ onye na-enwero opportunity to be taught. Onye ka eji abapụta sị na ebe a na-akụzili onye nwelu nne ka onye na-enwero nne na-amụta. Things happening around you, you listen. Then, ndị dị confusing, go to your guidance counselor. Some of them have guidance counselors in schools. Almost all the schools have guidance counselors. You go to your guidance counselor if you cannot talk to her, because some people appear rigid and fearful, so scaring the students away. If you cannot talk to your guidance counselor, go to any of your teachers you feel is like a mother to you. Go to your principal or headmistress and talk to her gently. Say, Mommy, please, I have a problem. I want to ask you, there's something I'm seeing. There are changes I'm seeing on my body. And this is what I noticed. They'll be able to direct you. They can equally talk to your mothers, invite them to the school and talk to them. There's something. And mothers should equally understand and take it in. Some will say, why would the child go to the teacher to tell her when I'm at home? You might not have given her the opportunity. And some mothers too are equally very harsh on their children, making them not to have the patience. Some like to talk to their fathers. Some like to talk to their mothers.
We grew up with the era where women would tell their children that if a man touches you,
you get pregnant. Tell them the truth.
Exactly.
Because when they check or do something like that and it does not give that result the mother have told them about, they will not trust you again. They'll not listen to what you're saying again. So you need to tell them the truth of what is happening and that you need to stay till you get married. Exactly. You need to adhere to that, and
that's the role parents have to play.
Yes, even fathers.
Fathers, the ones that are staying with their children. What about the children that are not staying with their parents? There are some that are in the homes, just like you mentioned, caregivers. Those ones at the homes, the caregivers should talk to them, tell them exactly what things are, the names and all that. And no one should go by uncle or auntie.
Yes.
If you're going by the title uncle, Uncle Anthony, yes, Uncle Emeka, Uncle this, we shouldn't just say this is your uncle and it ends there. Auntie this, auntie that. So that if anything happens, you say, thank you, did this to me. And then also train those children, tell them that nothing will happen. I remember that case, that girl that died in the court because she saw the perpetrator, the man that raped her. The man said, if you tell anybody, cat will eat up your head. And immediately he entered the courtroom. The girl started convulsing until she died. So tell the children that nothing will happen to them.
Nothing.
Encourage them. And then for those of us that stays with our children, make sure that the male child and the female child doesn't stay in the same room.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not proper for them to stay in the room because you see this thing we have in our hands now. They have assignments. They want to browse this. Are you browsing it with them? And they are using your own phone to browse. And they will try whatever. They are human beings like us.
And they know sites. They know sites that you don't even know.
They can delete it and you will not see it.
It's a digital generation.
Exactly.
So they are faster and ahead of you. You don't know the sites they enter, dating sites and other sites where they see a lot of things. Most times we are trying to protect them, saying, please don't call the name of this. Please don't call it this. Don't call it that.
Another
And
thing
we
is
are
that
delaying
our
their
caregivers
progress.
should learn, and teachers should learn to address their students properly. They are the ones that instill fear into these children. When you go to school, if you have activities in the school, you will learn lots. Teachers are not helping matters. I'm not talking about children that are staying with their parents, but the ones that are not staying with their parents, that trusted the teachers so much, when they get to the school, they will not have the opportunity. In fact, they will not have the effrontery to talk to their teachers.
On your own part, when you go to schools or for intervention, you need to talk to children.
To the teachers too.
And
yes,
then the children, for them to speak out.
Exactly,
Once
to speak
things
out.
like this happen, they need to speak out.
The teachers should give them the opportunity to talk to them.
Yes.
Just like she mentioned, some guidance and counselors are harsh. Some teachers are harsh. Some form teachers are harsh. But this girl we rescued recently on Friday from Oba, the teacher observed her. She saw her crying, and then she noticed that her steps changed and asked her questions. And then it was the man she was staying with that abused her.
So
A head of a ministry.
Well, I wish we can go on, but we'll keep doing what we are doing. It's like a sensitization, talking to people, parents. You have a whole lot to do. Caregivers, teachers, even Sunday school teachers, not just in school, in our churches, because most times
they're still teachers.
Cameras are also important in the homes for those that can
to monitor what is happening.
Even if the camera is not working, just put anything there and tell them that
it's working. It scares them.
Some people know how to cover it. They use clothes and cover it at the end of the day. But then we still do our own bits.
Of course.
Yes. Well, that's it on the show this morning. Stopping gender-based violence in Anambra State. If you've been part of the show, you understand that a lot has been done. Just like Eukaria said, a lot of people have been rescued. But then we just need to end this, not curbing it. We need to end this, and all hands needs to be on deck to see how we can end this gender-based violence in our homes, in the society in general. We want to say a very big thank you to both of you for joining us on the show this morning. Thank you so much. Eukaria Anambra, the State Coordinator, Child Protection Network, CPN. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
And also to you, Ngozi Moji Eke, Adolescent Reproductive Health Focal Person, Ministry of Health. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's it on the show this morning. My name is Chidinma Orangwa. See you again tomorrow.
Thank you for having the show. God bless.
Rape. Please. Stop it. Stop it. We get injuries. We get hurt. It's a lifetime trauma. Guys.
This is just 5 minutes of pleasure and not a lifetime satisfaction.
Control yourself.
The next victim might just be your sister.
So, let's fight against rape.
Let's get the culprits to pay.
Do you imagine what we go through?
We struggle.
Some don't even make it out alive.
Most are damaged beyond repair.
We lose our sanity.
We lose our innocence.
You instill great fear in us. You tear us apart. It's a scar.
A wound that doesn't heal.
Quit asking irrelevant questions. What was she wearing? Where was she going to? Why did she go out with someone?
If you say that is indecent dressing that causes rape, what would you say of the old woman that was raped in her farm? What would you say of the little baby that was raped? How would you justify rape? Why would you do that?
That she is beautiful doesn't mean you should rape her. That she is dressed like me doesn't mean she is calling for rape.
Instead of spending time telling the young ladies how to behave and how to dress, why don't you spend time teaching your male children how to treat ladies so that they will grow up to be the kind of husbands, the kind of men that your daughters truly deserve?
Say no to rape.
Say no to rape.
Say no to rape.
This is a social campaign against sexual violence by Anambra Broadcasting Service.